Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So I'm only going to do half of this chapter. This video is about Proverbs 13. I like to point out that I'm a very kind-hearted, very thoughtful, very considerate person, and that I'm provoked daily, I'm fumed, I'm poisoned. They mess up my eyesight, they cause my eyes to have like a burning sensation. They're using various frequencies or something, nanoparticles, fumes. I have 23 witnesses on record. It's something that people know that they should believe. They know that it's occurring because the evidence is overwhelming. There's no other way to look at it. I've discussed it with many people and they all agree there's no other way to look at it. Okay. So Proverbs chapter 13. A wise son heeds his father's instructions, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes. So a huge part of Proverbs is the sheer anger that comes with people not doing God's work. See, a mocker does not respond to rebukes. It's like, you damn mocker, why aren't you responding to rebukes? It's implicit in the writing style of the author. From the fruit of their lips people enjoy good things, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence. So again, it's like, why are you people unfaithful? Why do you have an appetite for violence? Why don't you understand that from the fruit of their lips, from their actions, from their heart and the actions that they do, that people kind of fill their souls with good things. Why don't you understand this, right? So, and it's kind of working its way toward chapter 30, where there's a climactic moment, and then the rest of chapter 30 and chapter 31 are describing why it's about it's about them rebelling against God. It's about their reproductive cycles. It's about their lack of noble character. And they're comparing it to, they're describing in terms of what is royalty and what isn't, and there's nuances there to consider. Okay. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly come to ruin. Now, what does it mean to speak rashly? Right now, as I'm making this on the fly, am I speaking rashly? No. I'm making a calculated decision over many years that this is a smart thing to do. This is strategic. This is how it's done. It's playing speed chess, making rash moves. No, because that's the nature of the situation. It's the circumstances of the game. Here, in reality, it's not a game. And I'm guarding my lips by moving masterfully and carefully. But because of the circumstances, the sabotage, the fuming, the poisoning, the persecution, I must move the way that I'm moving. I must speak the way that I'm speaking. And it's honoring God. God respects it. I have no doubt about that. From the fruit of my lips, from my heart, the fruit that my heart bears, my wisdom, my teaching, my insight, my sense, from my martial arts spirit that continues even though I don't throw punches and kicks anymore, what have you. I don't do stretches, what have you. My martial arts spirit continues. It fills my soul with good things, right? Martial arts are about building character. And those who are in the spirit of sabotaging the top martial artist ever, who are throwing punches and kicks, they're not doing martial arts. They're just practicing techniques. They're missing the whole point, which is to build character. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear this, but it includes having the character to admit that the top martial arts ever possible is monotheistic and the implications that come with it. A sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. So again, it's saying, look, you stupid sluggards, your appetite is never filled. You keep, building a foolish building. You keep bringing forth stupid works, right? You're not using your head. It doesn't matter if you could draw better than anyone else, if you could design the best car, if you're the best doctor, or whatever, right? You're a sluggard. You're too lazy to do what is righteous and right. And you took the easy way, which is conformity. 1 John 2:15, don't love the world, anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves, right? So he's saying the righteous, the spirit of righteousness causes the righteous to hate what is false. It's like, what's your problem, you damn lazy coward? You're too lazy to do the right thing. So they hate the wicked, right? It says the righteous, detest the dishonest, the wicked detest the upright. It's one of these scriptures, I think it's in chapter 28 or so. Okay. And kind of paraphrasing, that's almost exactly what it says. It might be the other way around, but it's saying that. Okay, so again, the righteous hate what is false, and the scumbags who are doing it, mind you, but the wicked make themselves to stench and bring shame on themselves. When the righteous are seeing them in their state of disgrace, it's like, what's wrong with you people? And that's a huge part. I can't stress that enough. That is a huge part of this. Earlier in verse 3, it says, those who guard their lips. The word being used as guard. Here in verse 6 here, it says, righteousness guards the person of integrity, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. So who's lowering their guard? The wicked are lowering their guards. And it is stupid. It is foolish. It is just a dumb move to have your guard lowered because you're wicked. That is stupid. One person pretends to be rich yet has nothing. Another person pretends to be poor yet has great wealth. In terms of actual dollars, I don't have many dollars, but I've stored riches in heaven, and I have great wealth in heaven. So it's saying, stop being a gold digger and rally to the King of Kings. That's me. And to judge people according to the content of their character, not by how much blood money they have, whether or not you want to argue if their blood money is blood money. In this global financial system that we live in, okay, I transcend it, of course, all rich people have blood money stored up. Are they obeying God through me, or are they seeking to benefit from a pure evil rape cult system? A person's riches may ransom their life, but the poor cannot respond to threatening rebukes. Now, what riches are they talking about? So you have to connect it to that verse before, where it says that one person pretends to be rich yet has nothing, another person pretends to be poor yet has great wealth. It's the verse before it. So those who have stored riches in heaven, who have scrambled to do God's work all their life, okay, will be saved by faith that produces the works of God, the fruits of God. The light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. So when my hands are gathering up the wind, I hold the wind in my fist. When I'm wrapping up the waters in a cloak, okay, those who are righteous went straight up, right? The path of the prudent leads straight up to keep them from going to the realm of the dead. The other people, right, those who are in rebellion, those who are cheating out of my right to lead, they're catching all hell. Where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Take advice from who, right? Me. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Now this is interesting. The verse before, real fast here. The person who wrote this is trying to give me advice and other people advice. So in a sense, I'm taking their advice, but I'm really following my heart, and I'm saying they're reminding me of what I would do anyway, while the devil's trying to confuse me. And that connects to verse 11 here, where it says, dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. So, I didn't become what I am overnight. Every day, I make videos. Every day I read scripture. Every day I resist the devil and he flees. Every day I trample the spirits of those who are in rebellion against God. Be it the military, America, Europe, Israel, all the nations of the world, you name it. Now, when the people put that on the dollar bill where it says, in God we trust, and people say things like one nation under God, do you think that they should try to get even with me for pronouncing God's judgment on America as America persecutes me, as the American spirit through the military, the police? Okay, the people doing this to me are some of the biggest enemies of America in human history. People giving the orders, people willing to follow these pure evil orders. Okay, there's no other way to look at it. But yet they act like they're bad and say, hey, because you said that, we're going to have to do this, this, and this. Can you imagine being dumb enough to think it's a good idea to take on Jesus? It's not. It's stupid to try to take me on. Verse 12, we're going to go to like verse 15 or so, because I want to end on the verse about good judgment where it says that flat out. We'll get to it. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. So if an attractive female attracts me, right? Like it says in Psalm 45, the king will desire your beauty. Okay? And I'm looking for a wife, what have you. Should she reject me and deny me that longing fulfilled? No. If she does, she's chosen the tree of knowledge. He knows what it's like to reject Jesus as an idiot. Okay? But her shame is extreme. And the righteous hate her. So she's looking at people like Freddy Krueger and Dick Dastardly and Magneto and Lex Luthor, these kind of characters, right? Adolf Hitler and, crazy Zionist Herzl, what have you. They're looking at these monsters And they're like, okay, maybe they don't disapprove her. More often than not, people don't like females who are dumb enough to reject the most righteous guy ever. I mean, whether they're good or evil, right? But these people might approve of what she's saying. But all the righteous think she's a disgraced slut. You know that you're dumb when you only care about what the wicked think and you don't care about what the righteous think. That is very stupid, very stupid. Whoever scorns instruction will pay for it, but whoever respects a command is rewarded. Right? You see that? Whoever scorns instruction. Right after it said, longing fulfilled. Next verse is about people scorning instruction. They hate instruction so much that they're willing to rebel against Christ. Okay? I'm here in the flesh and they're willing to rebel against me. And they're willing to shun me. So they scorn the instruction that comes from God through me. It comes from God through nature before I was born, through me now in the most impressive and potent way, as their ancestors pale in comparison compared to me. And I say that because even now they try to disrespect me as I say this. You people will be punished severely for disrespecting me. Never forget that. Okay. So they're not respecting a command. Notice the word being used is command. And this chapter talks about guarding and it talks about commands. Now, is it talking about some brute in the military, some police officer who's just like a craftsman with a badge? Or are they talking about people who transcend and obey God, mind, body, soul, spirit? It's talking about martial arts. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death. So there's that fountain of life. Who has wrapped up the fountain of life? Who has wrapped up the teachings of the wise in a cloak of passion, a passion for God? You see how it's martial arts. It's not following a corrupt government, it's martial arts, right? It's grasping the teaching of the wise. It's wrapping it up in a cloak of zeal and passion for God. Okay? And that turns those who do it from the snares of death, and can only be done by obeying God through me. Verse 15. Good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction. So what leads to their destruction? Bad judgment. Okay, and what is bad judgment? It's the way of the unfaithful. It's the way of those who aren't faithful to God. They're not faithful to me. If they're faithful to God, they would be faithfully following me because God set me apart to lead. They would understand my actions and they'd respond. But they've been bred from the actions of the wicked, so they don't respond. Now, this gets a little tricky. It's like the Cain and Abel effect. You might have a family member. Now, everyone's rebelling against me, mind you, so that's important to know. But you might have a family member that is wicked, and you might not be so wicked. But after my flesh dies, that's it. There will be no more Abels after my flesh dies. Just Cains.